Good evening. Welcome to the Raymond Select Board meeting for Tuesday, September 16th, 2014. I'm going to table the minutes of the previous meeting until our next regularly scheduled meeting where this is kind of a special meeting to set the mill rate. So could I have a motion to allow folks from out of town to speak?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. We're here tonight to consider setting the 2014-15 mill rate. Our assessor, Kurt LaBelle, is here. Kurt, take it away.
Kurt LaBelle, assessor's agent for the town of Raymond. We do have all the valuation and budget figures formulated for the selection of a tax rate. I believe you have 3 or 4 potential choices that are in front of you. We did have some increases in valuation this year. Overall, about $3.8 million in taxable valuation increase, which is about $40,000 in tax base. Real estate was up about $4.8 million. Personal property down about $1 million. We're probably going to see that trend continue as exemptions that the legislature has approved for personal property continue to take hold. More new property that comes online, business equipment is exempt under statute. We do get a 50% reimbursement, but eventually you'll see personal property, continue to diminish over the next several years. Do anticipate moderate growth, I guess you could say, in real estate valuation. We are going to have some negatives come up over the next few years. Youth program enrollments, I think, will probably continue to rise. Tree growth, farmland, that will dampen a little bit of the growth, but it looks like we're going to have another good construction season over the next year. So things are turning around on that front. As far as assessments to sale ratio, things are looking pretty good. Main Revenue's last report has the town of Raymond at about 101, 102% of market value. Equity scores are good. A couple of years ago, Raymond was about 10% over market. So we've had some market appreciation that's taken hold. And so the assessment numbers are now coming into line with resale values on the market. So that's good news for everyone. That means people are starting to get some equity built back into their homes a little bit. Good news. So on the budgetary side, we do have some increases from the school, a small decrease from the county. What was a small increase on the municipal gross budget, but on the property tax side is actually a fairly sizable increase because we have some loss of non-tax revenue that's going to displace some more municipal budget onto the property tax side. But those things all together are going to necessitate a tax increase from last year, which was $11.25 per thousand. This year I've calculated a minimum rate of $11.80 per thousand, which will produce a round commitment with no fractional rounding and an overlay of about $30,673, which is consistent with what the board has selected for an overlay over the last 2 to 3 years. We've been right in that upper 20 to mid $30,000 range. And that's about all I have. I can answer any valuation questions that you may have. Otherwise, I'd open it up to board discussion, I guess.
Questions for Kurt? Kurt, I have one question. It seems to me that our necessity or what we spent out of the overlay from last year in abatements was rather small, maybe under $10,000 this year, or in that ballpark possibly.
Yeah, I did have a chance to check it real quick. It was approximately $5,200.
So $5,200 from the overlay of last year was used for abatements.
Right.
So the 30,000 number seems very comfortable. When you consider 5-cent increments, 5 cents means about $50,000, so we really can't go to, I don't think we can go to 1175 because that would put us below our tax commitments. So any other questions for Kurt?
Where does Raymond stand in Cumberland County as far as our mill rate?
Off the top of my head, I don't think I can give you an answer, but I can check the equalized mill rates off the main revenue site and get back to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd just be interested,
Yeah,
because I really do think we have one of the lowest mill rates in Cumberland County.
I would suspect that's true. Main revenue does keep track of 100% equalized rates, so even if a town is not assessing, at 100% of market, main revenue will equalize those. Yeah, I would suspect that, my gut feeling would be that Raymond would be in the bottom third, certainly.
If you can get us that information,
I can, yep.
thank you.
You could give that to Dawn for the next meeting, and we can report it
Right.
at our October meeting, Kurt.
Yep, there may be a year or two delay on it, main revenue runs a little behind, but I'll give you the freshest stuff that I can get my hands on.
Thank you.
Do you know any mill rates of any of the towns in our county, in Cumberland?
Well, I'll say that I know Harpswell's because I work there, but it's, mill rate it's a tricky thing because every town has a different budget and a different valuation setup. So if you have a town like Harpswell that has a budget scenario pretty similar to Raymond's, but with all that oceanfront has high valuations, their mill rate is going to be down in the $6 range. Whereas you would take, like I think we were talking about Freeport, much higher budget, probably lower or equal to valuations, $15. Service center towns in Maine tend to run somewhere between $15, $16, and $20 per thousand. So the small towns, low teens.
But isn't Portland in the $24, $25 range now?
They probably are, but it's difficult to say what their equalized rate
Right.
is, because some of these larger communities don't do full revaluations that often, so some of them may be at 70. I think, like Waterville is in the 70% range, so they're running a $27 tax rate, but equalized, it's probably $20, $21. So, but yeah, Lewiston, Auburn, Portland, Augusta, they're all probably hovering in that $20 range for equalized rates.
So as much as $8 more than us, best guess. So we'll report that and give some comparisons at the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, a certain amount of it is, when you look at the breakdown, 72% of that $11.80 is RSU, and it's
Right.
not something that, local Raymond, government has direct control over, because that's handled outside the town. So, there's some things that, and the calculations for that, they vary. They can depend upon what your state valuation is, what your pupil count is, whatever the arrangement is between the towns and the RSU. So it can be difficult to make apples to apples comparisons depending on what your situation is. So I'd caution you not to read too much into mill rate, comparisons, because, there's a lot of factors there.
Any other questions for Kurt? Anybody from the audience want to speak to this? Seeing none.
I'd like to make a motion to push $11.80 forward for a mill rate.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0, Danielle. Thank you, Kurt.
You're welcome. I have your warrants here.
We need to sign
Pass.
something, do we? I did fail to mention that our town manager, Don Willard's not here this evening. He is away at a ICMA conference. So for those folks who realized Don wasn't sitting next to me, that's why, because he's away this week. All right, Kurt, what do we need to?
So this first one, you're going to have one on the first page and 2 places on the back. Only one on this one, and one on that one. So there's just one of them that's a double-sided.
Mine's the only one that you guys can read. There's a great that you can scratch.
Anybody from the public want to comment this evening about anything? Select board members, anything you want to say while you're signing?
Again, something possibly. There's a lot of new businesses in town that I'm noticing. And, did you sign this? And can we do something maybe on our webpage of like the businesses that we have in town and a little blurb of what they do, just so people know if they're looking what's in the area? Is that an idea or no?
We have a section of the website we're working on, a new business website that we launched probably within the next like 3 months. So.
Okay. And press. Okay. No, there's just a lot of them, so people gets the word out. Is what it is.
Our next regularly scheduled meeting is October 14th, which is a Tuesday. We also have a meeting on October 15th, which is Wednesday of that same week, at 6 p.m. with the RSU board. Just an opportunity that we requested to meet. There's a lot of new members, I think, on their board, and there's new members on our board since we've ever gotten together. So I thought it would be a good opportunity just to get together. I'm guessing that'll be somewhere around a half hour to say hello and maybe ask a few questions back and forth. And
That meeting will be here, right?
that meeting will be here in this room. At the October 14th meeting, we will also have a public hearing on the RSU question that was brought forth at our meeting a couple weeks ago.
Somebody asked me yesterday, they saw me, and they wanted to know what are the questions, the numbers to the questions on the referendum, because they do want to do up some signs and they just want to keep it short and simple. So whatever the RSU question is, like no on 3, yes on 3, whatever.
I think you'd have to ask Sue,
Okay.
because I do not know the answer to
That's
that.
probably only one question.
I
Yeah.
know she'll have the warrant at your next meeting, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Oh wait, there are some bond issue questions, aren't there? I think.
They just said they wanted to do up signs, but they wanted to do them simple, is
Yep.
what it is. Yep. So.
Kurt?
There's quite a list here, and they're not sorted, but I can just give you a general idea on the equalized rates. In 2012, Raymond's equalized rate was $11.66. The county average is $15.21. So there are a few towns here that dip under, like I said, Harpswell, Long Island, mostly the ocean front, and a few right in that 11, but a whole slew of them in the 14 to 17 range. So
So we would be on the low side of,
yeah, you're 3.5 mils under the county average.
great.
Thank you.
Lonnie, you have some warrants for us?
I do. I'd like to make a motion to accept payroll expense summary dated 9/16/2014 for the amount of $50,234.39.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? 5-0, Danielle.
Make a motion to accept treasurer's warrant dated 9/16/2014 for the amount of $67,645.92.
Sorry, second.
All those in favor? 5-0, Danielle.
All right.
Anything else for this evening, folks?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you all.